Hello, this is Lerone Koontz, and this is On the Stoop. Today, I am going to talk about the government star witness, Jona Rechnitz. Now, Jona Rechnitz is the person that the government is saying gave Seabrook the $60,000 cash money in the black Ferragamo bag. Okay? But before I get to his testimony, I would like to encourage you to support the broadcast by purchasing some of the items that I have for sale. I have the keychain that is engraved with care, custody, control on one side and firm, fair, and consistent on the other, as well as a keychain that says no guns, just guts on one side, and we face what you fear on the opposite side. And then I also have a keychain that doesn't have engraving, that's just blank. And these are on sale on Amazon, as well as the book Correction Officer's Guide to Understanding Inmates. I will provide the link to those. Thank you for your support. Now I will tell you about the testimony of Jona Rechnitz. Jona Rechnitz is a 35-year-old father of 5. He's married. He became a government witness, or he chose to cooperate with the government in 2016 when he was arrested for being involved in the Ponzi scheme. So part of his agreement with the government is for him to testify about the crimes that he has committed, in the hopes that he will get leniency when he's sentenced for the crimes that he is pled guilty to, which include Ponzi schemes, tax evasion, and things like that. He is the one who is saying that he and Norman engaged in this pay to play, this quid pro quo, this I scratch your back, you scratch mine type of a relationship, this conspiracy. So the best way to tell his story and his relationship to Norman is through a timeline. So I'm going to lay out this timeline, because if I go into everything that Jona was involved in, it will take a long time, and I don't want to take that long. I don't want to take up too much of your time. So this is what it is. In October of 2013, Jona and Seabrook meet. They meet in the office of the New York Police Department's chief of department, Philip Banks, who was the chief of the department, the highest uniformed officer in NYPD. Jona, Philip Banks were friends. They also have an associate, Jeremy Wrightsburg, who's also part of this. Okay, but we're just going to focus on Jona and Norman. Okay, so Philip Banks introduced Norman to Jona Rechnitz. Jona tells him of this Police Appreciation Day that they're having that week at the MetLife Stadium, where the Jets are playing the Patriots. They have a private suite. They're having this big appreciation day for police. They're giving out awards. They're having food. They invite Norman to come. Norman comes. Norman hangs out, has a good time. He has food. They even have an award for Norman. All right, so from that day, the relationship between Jona and Norman was formed. There's emails going back and forth between the two, where Seabrook is referring to Jona as his new best friend, or his new brother and friend for life. Okay? Jona is lavishing Norman with expensive dinners, taking him to an exclusive cigar bar because he knows Norman likes cigars. And in November, a month later, in 2013, he takes Norman on a trip with Philip Banks and others to the Dominican Republic. All right, they have a good time. They come back. There's more dinners. There's more cigars. And then in December of 2013, he takes Norman back to the Dominican Republic on a private jet, all expenses paid. Expensive dinners, hotel stays, everything. He says that it was during this trip where he is in the room, in Norman's room, and they're discussing, they're talking, and Norman starts to get emotional, and he starts to talk about his upbringing. And he says that he was raised by a single mom, and he had a tough upbringing, and it's tough for, a black man to make it in the society. And he says that he's having financial problems, he's having problems paying his mortgage, and he is frustrated because he handles a lot of money, a lot of the union's money, and people are getting paid all around him, but he's not getting paid. He makes reference to the financial advisor, which he says is getting paid because of the money that he is investing for the COBA. But Norman is saying, but when will I get paid? How do I get paid? That's when Jona seizes on this opportunity to say to Norman, listen, I know a guy who runs a hedge fund, partner of mine, and I can talk to him, and maybe we could come up with some type of way that you can get paid. So they agreed to that. And so when they get back from the Dominican Republic, Jona meets with Mary Huberfeld, who is one of the founding owners of Platinum Partners. There, Jonas says that they came up with the scheme to give Seabrook a percentage of the profits that's made off the money that he invests in Platinum Partners. Okay, so in the case of him investing $20 million, the money that investment generates, Seabrooks will get a percentage, and that percentage was estimated to be about $100,000 to $150,000 a year. So this is what Jona tells Norman. Jona says, agrees to this. In January of 2014, that's when the annuity fund trustee board meeting is held. Platinum Partners comes in and presents. In February of 2014, that's when the resolution was drafted, and each of the executive board members, the 4 members that are part of the trustee board for the annuity fund, signed the resolution to move $10 million to Platinum Partners. In March in March is when the money actually was transferred to Platinum Partners, the first $10 million. And after that money was transferred in March of 2014, Jona takes Seabrook on another trip to Israel, all expenses paid. For a week, it's a luxury trip with a luxury tour. They have 2 private helicopter rides. They go out on a yacht. They have a tour of the Israeli Air Force Base. It is a very luxury tour. It costs anywhere from $27,000 to $30,000 just for the tour, not to include the hotel and the airplane and everything, the flights and everything. So he's lavishing Seabrook, and when Seabrook gets back, they also continue with their dinners and their cigars and things like that. So in June of 2014 is when Seabrook moves another $5 million to Platinum Partners from the general fund's reserve fund. That makes $15 million to Platinum Partners. In July, he and the executive board members that are part of the annuity fund move another $5 million to Platinum Partners, which equals to $20 million. Now, Jona is saying between July and December, Seabrook is getting impatient about his payment. And Jona continues to try to appease him, taking him to dinner. And he knows that Seabrook likes Ferragamo, so he buys him a pair of Ferragamo shoes, try to appease him. And he tells him that we will know in December what the investment has made, and you will get your percentage in December. Well, December rolls around. Jona and Mary Huberfeld meet, And from what Jona says, they determined that the investment, the $20 million investment, has underperformed. It has not generated the type of profits that they anticipated. Therefore, Seabrook, who was expecting $100,000, would be paid $60,000. So they decide on the 60, and they work out a way where Jona will pay Seabrook the $60,000 in cash, and Huberfeld will reimburse Jona for the $60,000 that he's going to give Seabrook. And Murray knows that Jona has season tickets to the Knicks, so he tells Jona that, you know, make out an invoice of me purchasing your tickets and send it to my office, and I will send you the $60,000 as payment for these tickets. And that's what Jona says happened. They have the invoice that was sent from Jona for the tickets, and these tickets are just a cover for the $60,000 transfer from Platinum Partners to Jona for reimbursement for paying Seabrook, because the tickets never really changed hands. All right. So this invoice happened on December 11th of 2014. On the same day, Jona goes to the Ferragamo store, buys the Ferragamo bag. They have a video of him going to the Ferragamo store, coming out with the bag, they have a video of him going into his office building, and then they have another video of him coming out of the office building. And then they're saying that he went into the office building and took $60,000 out of his safe and put it in the Ferragamo bag. Then they have the video of him coming out of his office building. Then they have the video of, or the still footage of Seabrook's vehicle crossing the Tri-Barrel Bridge into Manhattan with his license plate from his SUV. And then they have a picture of them together on that night, in which Jona is saying that he gave Seabrook this bag that contained $60,000 cash. So that's pretty much the timeline. Okay, Norman is saying that there was no $60,000 in the bag, that it was cigars in the bag. But that's for the jury to decide. But I'm going to go through the timeline one more time so you can get it. In October of 2013, Seabrook and Jona Rechnitz meet. In November of 2013, Jona takes Seabrook to the Dominican Republic. In December, a month later, in 2013, Jona takes Seabrook back to the Dominican Republic. This is where they have this discussion and this plan is hatched. In January of 2014 is when Platinum Partners comes to the annuity fund meeting. In February of 2014 is when the resolution is signed by the executive board members that are part of the trustee board to release $10 million to Platinum Partners. In March, the money actually gets released. In March, Jona takes Seabrook to Israel on a luxury trip. In June, Seabrook comes and releases $5 million from the general fund, the rainy day fund, to Platinum Partners. In July, the annuity board meets again and releases another $5 million to Platinum Partners, which equals $20 million. All right. In between July and December, Jona Rechnitz is saying that he bought Seabrook Ferragamo shoes to appease him until December, when they got the numbers and they found out that the stock underperformed, or the investment underperformed. They decided to give Seabrook $60,000. On December 11th, Jona goes to the store, gets the Ferragamo bag, goes back to the office, puts the $60,000 cash from his safe into the Ferragamo bag, meets Norman for dinner, and gives him the $60,000 Ferragamo bag that's filled with $60,000. They find the bag in Norman Seabrook's house 18 months later, in his room, on his closet door. The government's contention is that the $60,000 was in that bag, and then they search Norman Seabrook's closet and they find $22,000 in cash. $21,000 is in envelopes in his safe in his closet. So that is the government's case. As I said before, Jona becomes a government witness in 2016. These transactions and these trips took place in 2013 and 2014. Jona tells them this story in 2016, and the government goes back and they get the records and the footage from December of 2014, where Jona is going to the Ferragamo store and going back to his office. It's amazing. All right. That's the crux of the case. It taught me a lot about the capabilities of the federal government. You know, don't commit any crimes, because they have a lot of tools at their disposal. All right. And I'm just not getting to everything that was discussed in this case, but these are the points that you need to know. The case is pretty much over. Monday, tomorrow, is when they're going to have the closing arguments, where the lawyers are going to make their case to the jury and explain all the evidence that they presented. And I will come back and I will talk to you about that. And probably before the end of the week, we will have a verdict and we will know whether Norman is innocent or guilty. So, until next time, I would like to say, as always, peace and stay safe.